Sure. Good evening. Mark Mudd on behalf of the applicant, G. Croft LLC, and I'm trying to move some things along this evening as well. Mr. Morehead, where is your property as it relates to the Washington Discovery project?
My property is actually on Adams Willett Road. His property is behind mine. Is that clear?
Okay. And you've testified, and make sure I heard you correctly, that the flooding issue is somewhat severe at times?
On Adams Willett Road?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And you're aware that you were here the first night, and you're familiar with the Planning Commission, that the developer has, as a condition of approval, is required to replace 10 pipes and or fixed culverts and those types of things. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. So can you explain to the board what damage specifically are you going to suffer as a result of the approval of this plan for the Washington Discovery property?
Well, one concern is the safety of the highway. Because Adams Willett Road is not a straight road, it is a curved road. Particularly my driveway is one that I have to ease out because of the curve just up from me. So with the increased traffic, I'm concerned about the safety of not only myself but other family members along the road, because the road is so narrow and there are trees that are right next to the asphalt. And as I stated in my letter, deer are constantly in the road, and it does create a hazard.
Would you agree that repair of the flooding is going to make the road safer for all people? Addressing the flooding issue is going to benefit all users of that road?
If it's done appropriately.
Okay. And you agree that you're not the only user of that road, that other people use that road?
Yes, and people who don't live on Adams Willett Road.
Okay. All right, so how is your actual perceived damage, specific damage, different from anyone else that might use that road?
Well, the safety issue of the narrowness of the road.
How is that different from me riding down the road tomorrow morning?
Depending on how you come down the road, it could vary. The speed limit on Adams Willett Road is 25 miles per hour. The number of people who travel on that road going 25 miles per hour is basically zero. So that creates a hazard right there into the fact that they don't follow the law.
I'm not trying to trick you here.
That's fine.
It's no difference whether you're driving a vehicle down the road or I'm driving the vehicle down the road. We both have to be concerned about the road width and the drainage issues.
Well, yes, concern is one thing, but actually taking action on your concern is another. That's the case. If everybody came down that road, followed the law at 25 miles per hour, it may not be a hazard, but they don't.
Speed limit signs are up?
Yes.
And they say 25 miles per hour?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And how many acres is your property?
58.
All right. And is your property enrolled in the forest management plan?
Yes, it is.
And what's the effect of your forest management plan on your property?
What's the effect of the forest management?
Why do you have one?
Only for tax purposes.
Okay. Other benefits of a forest management plan?
For me, there are no other benefits.
Okay. Do you intend to keep your property forested?
Yes.
And is your common boundary, you share a common boundary with the G. Croft parcel, is that correct?
Yes.
And would you agree that it's about 290 feet more or less?
Yes.
And are you aware, have you looked at the plans, that the G. Croft parcel, open space D, is what is adjacent to your parcel?
Not 100% sure of that.
Okay.
I haven't seen the latest drawings.
Okay. Are you familiar with environmental restrictions associated with the RPZ zone on your property and or on the G. Croft property?
No, I'm not.
Do you know what an RPZ zone is?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay. You testified that you previously indicated to staff your concerns about the flooding issues. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you also talked to them about the road width issue?
Yes.
And did you also address those issues to the Planning Commission?
in written form, which I also read at the August 22nd meeting.
Right. So you publicly testified before the board, before the Planning Commission, and you also submitted written testimony.
That's correct.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Moon, I'm Kurt Fisher. I'm back here again on behalf of the zoning officer and the county staff.
Yep.
Sir, are you a professional engineer?
I'm not a degreed engineer.
Have you retained a professional engineer to analyze the extent to which it's feasible to construct additional pavement on Adams Willett Road?
Have I
Have you retained one?
No, I have not.
Do you know how much right-of-way the county has on Adams Willett Road?
No, I do not.
Have you studied the minimal shoulder that would be required for shoulder stabilization in the event there was a widening?
No, I do not.
Have you studied the back slope grade differential that would be required along Adams Willett Road?
No, I have not.
In terms of the roadside grading, do you know what the required foreslope grade is?
No, I do not.
In terms of the back slope grade, do you know what the required back slope grade is?
No, I do not.
Do you know what the depth of the ditch would be?
No, I do not.
Do you know what the width of the ditch would be?
No.
Do you know the amount of surface that would be required in order to construct the ditch, establish the foreslope and back slope, and construct the shoulder at that location?
No, I do not.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
And when I say that location, I'm sorry, you mean Adams Willett Road, is that correct?
Yeah, I understand that.
All right. Thanks, sir.
I do have a redirect question, too.
All right. And if you could make sure you get in front of the microphone, Mr. Wolfgang.
You testified earlier, sir, that there is a particular problem with pulling out from your driveway onto Adams Willett Road. Is that right?
That's correct.
And that would, in fact, be different than the average driver's problem driving up and down Adams Willett Road, would it not?
That's correct.
And that would be particular to your ownership of the property.
Correct, yes.
And you testified earlier, I believe, that there were some concerns regarding erosion of your property as a result of runoff from the subject property. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that would be something that would be a particular damage to your property as opposed to the general public's concerns, would it not?
Yes, it would.
Now, you indicated that you read your letter to the Planning Commission. Do you know whether you read your letter to the Planning Commission during the public comments period of time or during a hearing regarding this matter?
Well, the best way I can answer that would be the August 22nd, 2016 meeting, and I'm not sure exactly what the status of that meeting was.
Okay. So the comments you made may not have been on the record of this case in front of the Planning Commission.
They were. I gave these. I read the comments and submitted the letter to the Planning Commission.
Okay. Now, regarding your knowledge of how to handle the engineering problems of this road, how many times did you go to meet with county staff regarding this matter?
One formal meeting.
Okay. During that meeting, did anyone explain to you what the plan was for amelioration of the flooding on the road?
Other than they were going to have the contractor take care of that issue without any, they didn't forward any detail to me.
And did they indicate to you that they did have some sort of a formal agreement or otherwise?
I can't say that they had a formal agreement, but I can say that they had an agreement.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you.